goes live in 2 minutes. Lynn Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Okay, not intending to confuse anybody. It is Friday. Sokolowski's here, which normally is Thursday, but we're just shaking it up because you don't want to get in a rut.
Exactly.
You don't want people. You just said people have difficulty with change.
The change, right.
You see, as you see, by the way, our little camera is back in regard to that. But we're going to try.
Panopticon or whatever.
Yeah, right. No, we're going to fiddle with it, and we're maybe hoping that what we'll do is have both cameras so that Jess, who isn't doing enough over there, can take shots, you know. So, in other words, if it's just me here, we'll have this little one. Right. And if we need to broaden out.
You have the fat man here.
Yes, we can broaden out.
Me and my Falstaffian physique.
You're not Falstaffian.
Well, no, probably.
You gotta, no.
I have a little ways to go.
No, God forbid. So, Tom is with us, and I saw an amazing production last night, and so excited was I by it that I told the director, stop by my show. So we'll be, good. And who knows, we're just going to hang loose today.
Right.
And we'll talk to the director for a while, and I had thought we could all be in here together with that nice wide shot.
The best laid schemes.
Indeedy. Dang it. So, a beautiful day, and Tom this blows me away. We have not talked about Boston. When you came,
I was here
you were
Monday.
Here on Monday, and it happened on a Monday.
Right, exactly.
So the day you left here, it was like an hour after the show ended that the explosion happened. Right. And so that was a...
Well, it's been in everyone's minds and what have you for the last 10 days.
Yeah.
It's there to say now.
I always think there's a sort of hysterical overreaction to these things, but whatever. Uh-oh, here's our... Hello? Yeah, let's just... What?
Do you want him to just hang out out there?
Huh?
Do you want him to just hang out for a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to tell him that? Was he by himself? How nice is that? I say to a guy, stop by, then he stops by, timidly knocks on the door, and I say, get away! Oh, man. Okay. Well, maybe we should have him in.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then, okay, you go. You go
away.
Get out of here. Get out! Hey, scream out the door and tell Jess to have Aron come in. I got to tell you, I know this is just... This is the joy of, being spontaneous.
Sit here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And Aaron, is Aaron there?
That's uncomfortable.
Aaron, come on in. Sit. Well, we're just doing this by the seat of our pants.
Oh, this is how serious we like it, sitting shit
Yeah.
in a box. Hello,
That's Tom Sokolowski.
Nice to meet you.
Aron Zelkowicz. Here, Aaron, sit. So, a triumph! A triumph last night.
Thank you.
Didn't you think?
I was happy. I'd never been in that situation before.
What do you mean you've never been in that
being in the
situation?
audience and having the whole show out of my hands at that point. Being the director and then...
You mean you never directed before?
No, this is my first time.
What? It was incredible. Okay, here's what we're talking about. The Dybbuk. Dybbuk. And this is a multimedia chamber opera. And there is one more performance. And do not deny yourself. Sunday, right? New Hazlett Theater. Where do they get tickets? Really, unbelievable.
Tickets, we have a website for the Jewish Music Festival. It's the Pittsburgh Jewish Music Festival. We are the presenting organization. That's pjmf.net, as in Pittsburgh Jewish Music Festival. But we're also part of the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra's Music for the Spirit Festival this year.
Right.
So you can also go to pittsburghsymphony.org.
Yeah, that's what I did. I actually called the Symphony box office, and they did it for me. You know how you go to things invariably and I don't know, you have a mixed reaction. I really was, I haven't been that blown away by a theater event in years and years. I mean that. This is something so special, from the music to the staging to the musicians, to the clarinetists, to those children, the wonderful chorus, to the coffin, to the every
the dancers.
Huh?
The dancers.
Oh, the dancers. Oh my God. And that's a lot of homegrown talent, right?
Well, I was just very lucky that everyone came together for this. I mean, it started out very small. I just wanted to do the piece and do what was necessary to have the piece done. And we thought, we'd have a couple dancers, and then 2 dancers became 4 dancers. And then having simple white shirts and suits became a whole assortment of costumes. And then we had masks. And
the masks, the costumes, the use of video. It is, I just thought, mind-blowing. And I treat yourself. I'm serious. It's not a huge venue, so you know, tickets will go. So Sunday night, or is it Sunday during the day?
Sunday evening, 7:30. This
Okay.
is technically the last official event of the Music for the Spirit Festival.
Okay, so you're a cellist?
Yes. I grew up in Pittsburgh. I've been playing, I've been subbing with the Pittsburgh Symphony for about 12 years. My dad was a member of the Pittsburgh Symphony. He played viola. He retired a couple years ago. And I've been doing this Pittsburgh Jewish Music Festival for about 10 years now. This is our 10th year anniversary, so that's why we're expanding to an opera. We wanted to do something extra big to celebrate. But I was just living in Pittsburgh and freelancing as a cellist, and I wanted to do something else as a rather large hobby that would keep me busy. And I started this festival, and it's just grown, and it's been wonderful.
Well, you got a new serious convert in me. I mean, really. Just a brilliant. I thought it was brilliant.
Thank you.
I can't believe that's the first time you ever directed. How is that possible?
Well, I just thought of it, I didn't think of it as first time directing an opera. I thought of it as just, always going back to the music that was written. This is a wonderful score and libretto by an Israeli composer named Ofer Ben Amotz. He took the play that was originally a Yiddish play written in 1912 and then first put on in 1914, and then 1920 it was done in Yiddish and then Hebrew and eventually taken to the United States. And since then, it's been performed well over 1,000 times. It's been converted into ballet. It's been converted into operas in English and Yiddish. This is the only opera that I know of that's in Hebrew. If you come on Sunday evening, you'll actually have the rare experience of hearing an opera sung and spoken in Hebrew with English subtitles. Usually it's Italian or French or German.
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah.
In the lobby, I was talking to a blind man. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, oh my God, I didn't say this to him, you're missing so much of this visual. He said he thought it was, I said, are you enjoying this?
Yes.
He said, it's amazing, it's wonderful. Yeah. And so he was just getting the oral aspect, and he was moved and blown away.
And the thing is, if you're going to mount a production like this, you have to really love the music, because you're going to keep coming over to it. You're going to be listening to it over and over and over again. And I never got sick of it, because you have to find every little scene that's going to be interpreted visually. So the opera is about 90 minutes long, but only about half of it, or 2/3 of it, is actually sung with text.
Right, there's a lot.
So there's a lot
of
to
talk.
So there's some talking, but there's
And
also a lot of instrumental music that had to be filled up.
Right.
So this is the first time it's ever been done with dance before. The opera was conceived of by using like silent actors as to sort of act it out. It was never anything this physical or beautiful looking. So it's been done. This is, I think, now the 7th production, but this is a totally unique Pittsburgh-based performance.
Well, I think it needs to go on the road. I think it really should be seen. Really special, amazing. Oh my God! Go see this, and you don't have to be Jewish, okay?
Right.
I went with a Italian Catholic who was equally blown away. Blown away. Wow. So, what did I want to say? Ooh, the clarinetist. Go for the clarinet alone.
So it's one of these rare operas where the two main leads, the romantic male and female lead, they're not both sung. One of them, the soprano, she's the bride that's possessed by the spirit of her lover. She's a soprano, an Israeli soprano, and I don't know of any other singers that could sing it, because I think you really have to be Israeli and know the Hebrew language to really pull this performance off. And also it's lies very low in the voice. So it's a very low range, and there are high notes as well. So she has a huge range. But the male lead is played by a clarinet, because once he dies, he's a spirit, and there are no words then for the spirit. So it's played by a clarinetist, and he actually has to memorize the entire... People asked me after the show, was that all improvised? And I said, no, every single note was written down. He had to memorize that whole thing, so he had to act and move around the stage.
He has to act and move, and while he's playing the clarinet. Unbelievable. Wow.
And the dance that we used, we have this wonderful company, Texture Contemporary Ballet. They're young dancers, the graduates of Pittsburgh Ballet Theater, and there we had 4 dancers. And this was a new choreography. This was a world premiere choreography that was created specifically for this event.
It's amazing.
By Joan Wagman, who's a local choreographer.
Amazing. I mean, it was really just amazing. Every aspect. There's not one person who didn't do their job to, just the nth degree. I just want to thank you. But I'm giving you such a gift. That's what I'm doing. I'm giving you a gift. Go. Really. Whatever's on TV Sunday night, you can watch later. You don't have it. This is there, and then it's going to be gone. Wow. Absolutely extraordinary. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for stopping by.
Sure thing.
Okay, so now I'm your number 1 fan.
Great. We'll come back and come back next year.
Okay. Aron Zelkowicz.
Yes.
My new best friend. Aron Zelkowicz. Do it Sunday night. Call the symphony or just figure it out. The Dybbuk. Wow. Okay, we'll take a break, and we'll get Mr. Sokolowski back in the chair, okay? In a minute. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
It's warming up outside, so get to Little's for all your spring needs. Little's has everything for men, women, and children to stay in style for this upcoming hot summer. Lots of great colors from Dansko, New Balance, Steve Madden, and much, much more. Don't forget to come visit this season's colorful handbag selection as well. Little Shoes, Pittsburgh's largest family shoe store, 5850 Forbes Avenue in Squirrel Hill.
Pittsburgh City Paper is seeking 10 local artists to design their own street box for our 2nd annual public art project to be featured throughout the city of Pittsburgh. Go to www.pghcitypaper.com and click on the Art Box link for more details. Pittsburgh City Paper Art Box Project, brought to you by the Westmoreland and Hill House Association.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
Okay, we're back. I'm sorry. I know I sound like a... Oh.
No, but I think it's great that when someone attends a cultural thing, that it can just touch you so much. I mean, that's when a work of art works. That you don't just say, "Oh, yes, how nice," pat, 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 pat.
No,
But it's like when people get wild about a sports thing. It's the same kind of passionate.
I really, seriously, have not had what I felt was an experience like that in years and years at theater. And I'm talking, I've been seen Broadway performances. Sure. I mean, in the last few years, I've seen Vanessa Redgrave, David Jones, all kinds of like biggies and people on it. I would take this in a minute over it. Just fascinating. You're taken along.
Well, I like this idea of the clarinet. Because it really, because normally how do you supposed to be a spirit if you walk out there with, corpus? How can you be a spirit? Well, this gives there's no voice, but this unspoken voice, which is just sound. It sounds great.
Amazing. And the clarinet, there's some of this aspect of sort of this klezmer kind of
the
music.
Sound, right.
And that klezmer music, it both, it sounds like... laughter often it sounds
or very plangent,
or like weeping. I mean, that the clarinet can do all of that, and oh my God, the dancers were out of this world. The only thing, and I didn't want to bother him about it. The only thing I really would fault is the audience.
Well.
And
pearls
maybe
before swine.
But maybe that's just my problem in that I'm an effusive person, and most people seem so restrained to me.
Well, I think part of it is, especially when you have, we were talking about this earlier, if you go to some Broadway thing, every show gets a standing ovation.
Which is ridiculous.
Which I hate, because, standing ovations, I'm
should
very
be really
effusive
special.
too. Yeah. But, they're being paid, whatever. But I think especially when it's a serious subject like this, and then in Hebrew and all the other albatrosses, normally you'd say for an audience, people don't want to appear stupid. And so they don't know, like, if I really liked it, no one else did, I'm going to be the bumpkin. Whereas if they're taken over as you were with this passion, like you just had to let it out.
I was screaming at the end, and I was so angry. In fact, they didn't stand up right away. They didn't get a standing ovation. I'm thinking, what? I mean, I wanted to. I actually turned to my friend. I said, "Can you whistle?" And we're very different people, she and I, and she had the same reaction. I don't know how anyone could not have been blown away by it, but I wish, being a performer myself and having some sense of how hard all those people worked to put that thing together. And it seems like if you're on the receiving end of it, you owe them the respect of really saying thank you. And the way you say thank you is really this. And so this, I'm sorry, it just doesn't do it. It doesn't do it.
Well, I think also we were saying this earlier, too, that there's something about serious drama, which this is, and dark drama, which this is.
It's like Jewish goth.
Yeah, right. Jewish goth. And one of the things I remember when I saw here the play Red, like we talked about, it was this play about the painter Mark Rothko.
Oh, yes.
And it's a very serious play, but it's very deep in that it talks about this guy, an abstract expressionist painter who was in the 50s, very, very early 60s. And he's painting these paintings which are just very, like, red on red, and they're very hard to get into. And he has a young assistant who's more of the pop idiom, because the artist, Mark Rothko, suddenly goes to a show where he sees Warhol and he starts screaming, "Oh, that's not art." Anyway, but the character was over the top, as Mark Rothko supposedly was. But when he was saying, you have to feel in your guts the power of it and stare at that painting for 20 minutes and be 18 inches away, and people were laughing because they didn't understand how someone could be so passionate about painting an all-red painting. I mean, they can scream and yell and paint their faces black and gold for the Steelers, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when someone who's doing art and is talking about how it's visceral and
they don't get that.
They don't get it, and they were laughing, and I thought, oh, stupid, and it was a good performance as well.
There's nothing. I mean, you put yourself out there as a performer, and
it all has to be no Nanette to please the audience. No Dybbuk.
And the children's choir? Who were those kids? They were marvelous. Marvelous. It was a cast of thousands. He said he wanted to do a little thing, and it kept growing. It kept growing. Oh, my gosh.
Well, it was interesting when he mentioned that both his parents were professional musicians, and they spawned
another one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, when there's like culture and music and love of the arts in a home, it can't help but to sink down. Not that you have to become professionally what your parents were, but there has to be this love for it.
Right. Well, I just have to, again, I hope if I get, you feel like, I want to drag it. I actually was fantasizing during it of buying my mother an airplane ticket and getting her here for the Sunday show. I mean, there's still time. I know. I think she would say, "Oh, leave me alone! I can't do that. It's too much," But I know how much she would love it. Okay, so we'll leave it. The Dybbuk. You call the symphony box office. That's what I did, and it worked out fine. $25 in the door. 90 minutes. Beautiful Hazlett Theater. So.
Yes.
Where were we?
What do you mean, where were we?
Oh, I want to hear.
We were just starting, and then your
That's right, and then my guest came. Here, I have a few photographs that I...
Oh.
Did you see the pictures of all, all the presidents at the...
Yeah, there was some...
Yeah. So all the presidents were together. Well,
the opening of the George W. Museum.
library. And
library, right.
Here is, I think it's such a riot. H.W. socks.
All right, he wears.
He always
jazzy
wears
socks.
red socks.
I don't know when he was president, but I've noticed recently he's been.
So they're all standing there in their suits, and he unfortunately is not standing there. He's in a wheelchair now, but it pulls his pants up about 4 or 5 inches, and there are these
red socks,
bright red socks.
And the funny. Well, that's neat. I mean, I'm wearing red socks too, but
you're not wearing a suit. You wouldn't wear them with a suit.
No, well, yes. It's very bespoke English to wear bright socks.
Oh, that is so funny because listen, my mother and I once found ourselves in a little shop, cozy little coffee shop kind of place in London, where we were traveling together, and my mother was looking for this store where she could buy my father these Argyle socks.
Oh, right.
Right. And we had been seated with 2 British men at the same table. I don't know. It was that crowded. Yeah, it was that crowded. So we're sitting with these 2 guys. And my mother, who's not shy, says, "So where can I get my husband some Argyle socks?" And the gentlemen pulled themselves up. They were appalled. They thought Argyle socks
were vulgar. And
yes. I remember they were too flash.
No, you know what they would say? Flash. But they would also say, "Oh yes, they're good when one's going golfing or something." Oh yes, fours.
Your husband wears Argyle socks, and we ended up having a great time. We spent over an hour with these guys, but we were blown away that Argyle socks, which we thought were very, whatever.
Snappy.
Yeah, but so you say the Brits like wearing snappy socks?
Solid colored ones, yeah, you'll often see a man. But what's interesting about the picture is, just from our historical point of view, they have the 4 presidents. And
5.
Who's the 5th one?
Carter.
Oh, forgot about Carter. He wasn't in the other picture, that's why. But anyway, and the elder President Bush is seated in a wheelchair because I guess he's having a difficult time walking now. But because he's wearing the red socks, it forces you to look at his legs.
That is true.
As opposed to saying, oh, he's just sitting there. But you think, oh, now he can't walk anymore. And so it's interesting.
But I love the Red Sox. I mean, I just love it. It made me laugh when I saw it.
Well, did you see there was something on one of the blurbs yesterday that, after we chatted a bit on one of the shows, and other people have commented on his George W.'s painting career, he was going on about it. This is like the greatest thing that I could do, and I wanted to do some new challenge after stepping down from being president, and I love it, and so, and then supposedly Clinton opined, because he had once tried painting, so this is becoming, my paintings are better than yours, but it's interesting. W said that the reason he first became interested in painting, and this is sort of weird in a sense, was that someone told him, someone else in government, I can't remember whom, that Winston Churchill painted.
Yes.
So I can see that, Winston Churchill
I could
painted.
know how to do that too. But I think Dwight Eisenhower painted.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. It's so funny.
I'll never paint, God no. Can you paint?
No.
Not at all.
No.
I mean, I can't even, if you ask me to draw a person, like a human figure,
right,
I am one step removed from a stick figure. I mean, I really have to start with that.
Sure.
I don't know.
Well, so do students that are, learning to do. I have a friend who is a serious painter, does figurative work. And for 35 years, every Thursday night in his studio in New York, he has a live drawing class and has nude models. And it's word of mouth, but he has some people who've been, going to this for 20-some years.
And they still can't do it?
Well, no, they're getting better, but he then goes. No, they just like the idea of having this opportunity.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I stay there, I'll peek in to see what's going on, and they're all pretty good actually. But it's very funny. He'll go and make suggestions how they can. And then one time, someone recommended a young African American boy who. He has such talent, etc. And he was still young, and my friend was sort of telling him, and it was interesting because one of the things they always say when you do drawing classes is that you don't draw the figure, you draw the space around the figure. Which is sort of a conundrum.
It's a different way of defining what.
But I guess it's an easier way to get you and say, how's the elbow? Well, no, just draw that space. And then it's interesting because my friend whose work is very traditional. It almost looks like sort of frescoes from the 17th century or 16th century. But he then keeps these drawings, which he has thousands now over all these years, and then will use them when he's doing a subject matter where he needs, like, the model doing this or doing that or whatever. So they're like collage, if you will.
Well, there was something that blows me away is how somebody can, with just a few lines...
evoke something, amazing.
Drawings like that, literally a few lines, and you have like the perfect portrait of somebody something.
Sure.
That is such a gift. There was a recent picture which got a lot of, I saw it in a few newspapers. It was a nude, it was a woman nude from the back, and I don't know, it was just like a sketch. I wish I could tell you what it was, and it was like, God.
Well, a lot of it is, it's
how
about
unbelievable.
Because people always search for photorealism. It looks just like a real bird, But what the best artists, it's about evocation.
I knew you were going to say it's evocative. It's just.
It has the spirit. Well, it was very funny. Warhol's mother, I always bring up Warhol, but was very much an amateur artist. But her drawings of cats, for example, were, very amateur, just like you were talking about doing a stick figure. But they were so cat-like. And I remember she did one where this cat was sitting there and it was like a ball of the body and the head. But then what she had coming from the mouth were the words like purr, purr, purr. And they were written in this weird calligraphy that almost like you could feel the purr, purr. They were so wonderful.
Huh. Unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think most people will wish we were talking about something else?
Well, maybe, you know. Well, today's after 10 days of devastation and bombings and
let's
treachery
remember,
and treason. Let's have
remember
something that makes us
art.
feel.
Remember
Yes.
people creating beauty. I mean, I got music, dance, theater, all that last night, and I'm just wow.
Overwhelmed.
So here's another picture, and this is a picture
More presidents.
of a bunch of white guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I see a black guy right there in the back. It's just a bunch of white guys, and they're leaving the city-county building yesterday downtown, and the one in the forefront is our county executive, Rich Fitzgerald, and behind him is a troubled-looking Bill Peduto.
Oh, he does look
Look at his eyebrows are.
Yeah, that's right.
My eyebrows go up like this when I'm troubled. Are they up? No.
Yeah.
They go up. And that's where he has that troubled look,
It
which
really
isn't good.
does.
Because they said they held this huge grouping showing that Peduto has tons of support. And he looks like he doesn't believe it.
Yeah, right,
I mean, he
right.
doesn't have the right look on his face.
Yeah, right.
However, what caught my eye about this picture is it says, Bill Peduto, city councilman, and Elliot Rich walk through the portico of the city-county building as representatives from unions, organizations, and elected officials gather to support Mr. Peduto. And I'm telling you, I'm looking as far as the eye can see, and all I see are men. Don't take it personally.
No, but we don't.
This city drives me nuts.
Well, except the only thing I would say to that is that I'm not one who overwhelmingly gives kudos to Pittsburgh. But I think if you went to many other cities, city council members, maybe you'd see a few more women, but not preponderantly. Not even half. Not even a third.
There are some states where women
Can't be.
No, there's a woman governor.
Right.
Women are the majority in both legislative houses.
Really?
And they might have 2 senators. What state is like that? Kelly Ayotte and Susan Bibihu are from represent, what is that, New Hampshire?
I was going to say
Yeah.
New England
No, I
states.
think so. New Hampshire has, and they've got a woman governor.
Wow.
And you know why? I mean, in that
All the
regard.
other men are farming.
No, because New Hampshire is one of those state legislatures where they don't get paid much of anything.
Oh.
So then you have women taking those jobs.
Well, but I mean, even the president only makes $200,000.
Only
a year.
makes $200,000.
No. But I mean, for all the service he has
No,
to
I think
put up with,
they gave him a raise.
but not much more.
No.
I mean, I think senators
Listen.
make $70,000 or something. No, they're not doing.
No. They're well into 6 figures.
Really?
Yes. Good God, a state senator makes over 70.
Okay, all right. But still, given when you're at that level, not so much state people, but I mean, people in Congress. I mean, that's an important job. I mean, they get other perks, but.
Oh my God, do they get perks? And they don't do a damn thing. And when they do something,
They do it wrong.
Jeez, I'd like a job like
What
that.
a bunch of schmucks. Yes, right.
So anyway, oh yeah, and speaking of them, I mentioned this the other day. So this sequestration has been taking place now for months, and a lot of people are hurting as a result.
Well, I was just telling Jess.
Poor people.
Before you came in that I was coming back from New York on Monday night.
And your plane was...
Oh.
Yeah.
Leaving LaGuardia, we were an hour and something late because the plane was late. And then we left the gate and we're on the runway, 25 planes ahead of us.
No!
Now, it wasn't bad. We got back to Pittsburgh. There's never any planes, especially in the evening. But I'm going to L.A. tonight, and I'm just thinking, oh, God.
Well, but see, here's what I want to say. So
But haven't they stopped it?
Oh, yes, that's what I want to talk about. The sequestration finally hit the elite.
Well, the elite, but no, more than the elite, at least what I read, and then it made sense to me, the people who are really complaining, bitching, are the airlines, because when the airlines are late, they get, what do you call it, fines, and they use up more gasoline.
All right.
So I think it's the airlines who are bitching.
Okay, but let's just put it this way. Okay, so corporate America and people who fly all the time.
Right, that's right.
I finally got pinched by the sequestration. And you
They
would
didn't like
think,
it.
oh my God, the howling of agony and pain.
Right.
And
That's true.
within 2 seconds,
Yeah. Well, and I remember
Washington
sure,
jumped
recapitulated.
and took care.
Capitulated.
Right. So now we get it. Okay, so they still haven't done a damn thing to help all the poor people whose programs have been
Right.
gutted.
Well, the president
And-
said that when they first started bitching about the airline thing.
But as soon
he
as-
said elderly people, meals on wheels, etc. That's all. These are poor people who. That's their main meal of the day.
It's despicable. They don't do anything until they themselves
Right.
get inconvenienced.
Right, exactly.
And they move, bang,
Yeah.
lightning speed. And they still are in no hurry to do a damn thing
No,
to
right.
help the people. It makes
What's
me
that old expression? Squeaky wheel gets oil. Especially if the wheel's a big wheel.
A squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Because the question then is, well, if the sequestration was needed, etc., how can you just pull it all of a sudden just because some people are bitching? So where's that
Well,
money
it turns
gonna
out
come
every
from?
time sequestration touches them,
Mm-hmm.
they'll quickly move to fix that, which is what they did. They actually got some more money from somewhere so that they could get the air traffic controllers back. Now, the fact that there are people in danger of losing their homes or
Right.
people who are whatever, who are not getting 3 meals a day now, that doesn't get them to
Doesn't
move.
matter, right?
I have such contempt
No, I agree with you.
for these people.
Even though I hope my flight is on time.
I know,
today,
well, of course.
But
I mean,
no,
if
but
I
yeah,
were
I'm sure.
traveling, I'd feel the same way.
But it's
you-
interesting because it would be fine if there was, let's say, some terrible crash because there was too few.
Yeah.
Then you'd say, well,
Yeah.
and that is very possible. But that's because of tragedy, not because some fat old guy's limo is waiting for him in Miami. Take him to see his pupsy.
Disgusting.
The world is not
They're
a fair
beneath.
place.
They're beneath my contempt.
You go, girl.
How much lower can she go? Let me.
Yeah.
Limbo.
Yeah, I've done a limbo in years. Limbo.
I never could. To limbo, you need
Well,
what?
you're
the
tall.
strongest quads and core strength.
And chutzpah, too.
I can't even imagine.
I don't think I've limboed since the 60s. As a teenager or something.
Well, that's probably. But you did? You think
at
you
some
limboed?
silly parties or something,
Yeah, right.
when it was when it first became the vogue. I must have been sort of in the same era and ilk as the hula hoops.
The hula hoops and the twist.
Oh, the twist. Oh, yes.
Hey. Hi, caller.
Hey, Lynn, George from Mount.
Hi, George.
Hello.
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 Yeah, I just wanted to stick my 2 cents in on the sequestration. Yeah, I was marveling at, the Senate got that done by unanimous consent yesterday.
Yeah, isn't that
Right.
something?
Yeah, and then today the House will pass it.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
there's another side of this, too. Remember, the other side of sequestration that the Republicans don't like is the military.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and here's my prediction on that, because right now that's being pushed off because the military has the ability to move money around, and the fighting forces have been separated from any impact, which is a good idea. But the rest of it is they can move money around. But now, if this, as it looks like it's going to, go on and on into the rest of the year, the military will be up against the wall for training and equipment and capital projects and everything like that. And my prediction is that we may have a small war in Syria to justify sequestration funds going to the military.
In the paper this morning it said that because they now use that gas. But why should we, unless it gassed Americans, why should we send
exactly right. You tell me if Americans, even the ones that usually say, yeah, let's go to war, I have a feeling Americans have had their fill, that this is politically a non-starter. Mm-hmm. Americans do not want to go to a war.
Oh, Lynn, you're so naive. Americans have a great capacity for being herded into a point of view, to take a point of view and support a war, even when they say they don't like it.
But even after Iraq and Vietnam.
Look at Iraq.
There is nothing to be gained for us to get tangled up in Syria. Syria is one of those disasters.
Yeah,
it is a human disaster.
Right. We just need to send the drone to hit Assad in the forehead.
No, and even then, I mean, if Assad's gone, you've got all these different factions, some of whom are every bit as awful as Assad.
Well, the thing I was talking to my wife about this morning was good old Senator McCain coming out and saying, these are the things we have to do, and they should have been done over the last 2 years. And one thing is a no-fly zone. And I immediately thought of himself being a naval aviator, because any kind of fly zone that's going to be conducted with Syria is going to be conducted by the U.S. Navy. And I would say that what the president ought to do is say, hey, John, I tell you what, we're going to recommission you as a full admiral and let you lead those forces. And then you can feel comfortable with your father and grandfather of being a naval admiral.
You finally rose to their level.
But that's my prediction. That they're going to drag us into,
God forbid,
with phony intelligence about gas warfare in Syria.
The only difference is here that there is a Democrat in the White House, and there is not Dick Cheney and George Bush in the White House. That's a huge difference.
Yes, sad.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye. I hope you prove to be a total bust as a prognosticator. Jeez.
But when I read that, I'm like, oh, God. We can't be the policeman for the world.
No. And if we haven't gotten that through our thick skull,
I mean, because Iraq, even though
that
was a bust, but at least you could say, well, after 9/11, but here there's we're not being threatened by Syria. I mean, the Syrians are, and we can blow up in that region, but there's no reason for us to go in and...
No. I mean, that'll put me in the streets in 2 seconds flat if we think we're going into Syria. You have got to be kidding me. God. We are not threatened.
No, we're not.
I thought we're supposed to go to war when we are threatened. We are not threatened.
There are other parts of the world where there are dictators who are dealing horribly with their people,
and we don't go riding
off.
There. Exactly. God. Okay, let's take a break, and when we come back, a change of topic. Okay?
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen Live after this.
Give the gift of beauty and youth this Mother's Day. Join us Saturday, May 11th for a day of rejuvenation, skincare, and fun at the Sewickley Med Spa. Purchase one microdermabrasion and Mom gets a free microdermabrasion. Log on to SewickleyMedSpa.com or call 412-259-8628 for details. Sewickley Med Spa is conveniently located in downtown Sewickley at 435 Broad Street. Happy Mother's Day from the Sewickley Med Spa.
Go to BergBargains.com for great deals on gift cards from your favorite local restaurants, bars, museums, attractions, and shows. Like us on Facebook or sign up for our weekly email updates for your chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to Kennywood. BergBargains.com, Pittsburgh's best bargains. BergBargains.com.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a range of pep talkers standing by. Call 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or visit yourged.org and find free classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education, brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Have a question or an opinion? call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn@pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
All right, PJ writes, even if the American people could be herded into a war in Syria, do you really think that President Obama has forgotten Bush's legacy in Iraq? And do you really think he would make the same mistakes? See, I don't. That's why I'm not buying George's prediction. Okay, I have an obit for today. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to pronounce it. Shakuntala
Devi, I think.
Shakuntala Devi.
I think.
You
Shakuntala, I think that's the way you pronounce it.
Okay, because you've seen that name before, Shakuntala?
Yeah.
Shakuntala?
It
sounds sort of
Yiddish.
Shakuntala? Hey, Shakuntala Devi. Shakuntala Devi is an Indian.
Yes.
And
from County Cork.
No.
No, yeah.
She was called the human computer.
Huh.
She could do, she's one of those people who could do the most amazing things in her head.
375 times 692 million.
Yeah, within 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. And get this, her father was a lion tamer and a trapeze artist.
Oh, my God.
In the circus.
Oh, gosh.
And when she was 3 and 4, he started noticing that she had this amazing capacity. So he just turned her into a circus act. He's from you were talking before. If your parents are musicians, right? Yeah, he was a lion tamer and a trapeze artist, and he thought, boy, we could do a serious show with this kid. So she made her first performance at the age of 6. And she never stopped.
But now, did she always do it just as a sideshow, or did she actually use the big brain to?
It says she became a successful
aluminum.
She was a successful astrologer, cookbook author, and novelist. She died at the age of 83. But get this. In 1980, she correctly multiplied, and this is at the Imperial College in London. I'm going to try to say these numbers. Oh, my God, what would that be? I'm going to say the numbers were selected at random by a computer, and she was told to multiply 7,686,369,774,870 by 2,948,668,177,995 or something. I don't know. I might have gotten these wrong. And she came up with the answer and managed to say the answer. I don't even know what comes after a trillion.
I don't either.
And how long
did it take her?
And how long would it take to even say the number? Say the number takes what? 10 seconds, 12 seconds?
Yeah.
She came up with it, did the calculation, and said the number in 28 seconds.
Ooh.
Really? So they said, like the...
I'm surprised someone didn't put her, in a bunker someplace and ask her to work for the government.
She beat a UNIVAC computer.
Oh, God. And now, was she an educated person?
Well, her father was a lion tamer,
so I doubt she was
in India.
Yeah, so I doubt she was.
I'm sure she got educated.
Wow.
Born in Bangalore.
Okay.
It's reminiscent of the Dustin Hoffman character in Rain Man.
Oh, right.
Because he could do that kind of...
Well, very often,
and that can be
people,
that's like an autistic thing. And
what is
called an idiot savant.
Yeah, but Asperger's syndrome, which now they say is not really a disease. It's part of autism, and the reason they made up this term was that people didn't want to say, "Oh, my child is autistic."
So they came up with Asperger's.
But no, they find that what those people can do is they can focus brilliantly on a certain thing. It can be like mathematical, like Shakuntala, or they can sit down. You can play them, a Chopin sonata on the what do you call it? Phonograph. Phonograph. Who's ever thought of that world shows how old I am. And they could just sit down and play
it
in the first go.
Yeah, yeah. So they said that,
That's wild.
Here's somebody, a researcher on human intelligence said, for her, the manipulation of numbers is apparently like a native language to her. Whereas for most of us, arithmetic calculation is at best like a foreign language we learned in school.
Right.
And with her, it was just...
God, she should have gone to the casino.
Yeah.
She could have, what do you call it, remembered those cards, card counting or whatever it's called.
But she'd be thrown out.
Well, that is one of my pet peeves.
I agree with you. So
if you're not, because you're not cheating, because you have the capability to remember the cards.
That's right.
So basically, that means the only reason you should go to the casino is to lose and make the casino rich.
As soon as somebody is good at it, you can't come.
Yeah, they blackmail.
How is that that's not a game I want to be part of.
No.
Thank you.
No, it's just very annoying.
She, in 1977, at SMU in Dallas, she extracted the 23rd root of a 201-digit number in 50 seconds.
I couldn't do the square root, let alone...
And that's the one where she beat a UNIVAC computer, which took 62 seconds.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
I love these anomalies about people.
I know. The brain is so amazing.
You have their whatever supreme being, man. Let's give... I'm going to create Shakuntala, and she's going to be a computer. And there's this person who can spit nails. And hit a target.
It's wonderful.
It's
wonderful.
It is.
And she appeared on the BBC, and they gave her some impossible calculation, and she came up with her answer. And the interviewer who was interviewing her was embarrassed because he said, "Oh, I'm sorry. That is incorrect." And she said, "No, it's not." And they went back and did their calculations laboriously and no, they were wrong. She was right.
Well, because I was going to say, really, unless before the age of computers, how the hell would you know? That was two numbers you read out.
I can't even imagine. Can you imagine doing that by hand?
Exactly. God. You'd have those kind of ways you do multiple, multiplication, like 300 times 697 columns going this way and that way.
Yeah, just unbelievable. Wow. Okay, known as the human computer.
Rest in peace, Shakuntala.
Yeah, 83 years old.
George Jones has died.
George Jones has died?
Who is George Jones? Of what?
Country.
Country. He's like the patriarch of country. Would you say at this point
what was his most famous
George
song?
Jones?
What is loving her.
Loving her.
That song.
Okay, do we have a break?
Stop loving
we did
her.
take a break.
Yeah, we did take a break, yes.
You're good.
Well, I am going to go. Give us some. Okay, well, George Jones. No, that's for country people. He's big.
Bigger than Dolly Parton?
Do you mean that? Oh, ha.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I thought you meant her boobs.
Her boobs. But she's
okay,
about
we got to
3
call
feet
it.
tall.
Go ahead. Yeah, I know. I don't know how she stands up. Hello.
Hi, guys. It's
Hi.
PJ from Greensburg.
Hi, PJ.
Hey, the obituary that I thought you were going to say that was Allan Arbus.
Yes. Now excuse me, I scared.
When she does one of her theatrical.
Yes. He jumped.
It's like being next to a geyser.
Yes, Allan Arbus. Now this is fascinating.
Oh, that's right. Yes. I read that.
Okay. Now, if you were to ask me about an Arbus, I would always have gone for his ex-wife, right? Wasn't Diane Arbus,
the photographer, right?
Who I had no idea they were married.
No, neither I.
I can't believe that. I mean, I was a fan of his from MASH.
Okay, so Allan Arbus was many things, but he ended up being an actor who played this was not a regular role, right?
He was.
It was I guess you'd say reoccurring.
Yeah.
Reoccurring role on MASH as the psychiatrist.
Dr. Sidney Friedman.
Dr. Sidney Friedman.
Oh.
And there was a cute quote from, I think, Alda in it saying he was so good at this, playing the psychiatrist, that people used to talk to him, all the time, trying to, get his help.
Well, I remember it was an interesting role because, here you had the two main characters, Alan Alda, and then, the two people played his sidekick. And, who it was a comedy about the horrible situation of the Korean War. And then he would come in and bring it down to the level of, these guys were laughing through their pain. And there were some very potent shows, as I remember. It's been many years, but.
Well, he was very good. And, the MASH early on was very, very good. And then it just got, kind of got a messiah complex and got worse and worse and worse as it went on. But he was in World War II. He was in the Signal Corps as a photographer. Apparently, he didn't start acting until he turned 40.
Yeah, it came to it very late. Yeah,
which is I was just truly amazed. And that all those little tidbits of trivia that I know about people like him and MASH and things like that. My wife. This goes back to what you mentioned earlier, but my wife says that I have just enough knowledge of that kind of stuff to be dangerous, and she says that I have half-assed burgers.
Half-assed burgers.
Shakuntala Devi.
I'll see you guys.
Hey, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Okay, George Jones. Died today. 81. Says here he was idolized not just by country singers, but by Frank Sinatra, Pete Townsend, Elvis Costello, James Taylor, and countless others. Waylon Jennings once said, if we could all sound like we wanted to, we'd all sound like George Jones.
I guess maybe if I heard his voice, but it means nothing to me. But
his failure to appear for concerts left him with the nickname No Show Jones. And he later recorded a song by that name and often opened his shows by singing it. His wild life was revealed in song and in his handsome, troubled face. He was rowdy. His hits include Who's Gonna Fill Their Shoes, The Race Is On. See, you don't know any of these. I Don't Need Your Rockin' Chair. She thinks
that really sounds like a country and western.
She thinks
I don't need a rocking chair because she's gone and shot a goat. Something like
She Thinks I Still Care. I know that song. That's a good song. Still Doing Time. Several duets he sang with Tammy Wynette, his wife for 6 years.
See, I know who Tammy Wynette is.
He also sang with Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard, Elvis Costello. His signature song was He Stopped Loving Her Today.
That's the one I was
Okay. A weeper among weepers about a man who carries his love for a woman to his grave.
Oh, God, yes, that's very country and western.
So, there you go. George Jones. Okay. That'll get a lot of play. I mean, he was that classic hard drinking, hard smoking, heart of gold. I don't know if that's
heart
true.
of gold that's tarnished.
I don't have a clue. I really don't know. But yeah, so there you go. Right. We didn't do this. Sequestration. Lynn, at first I thought that sequestration would be devastating, and it may well still be. But I've been thinking that perhaps by making these sweeping cuts as we have, we'll discover through our own pain, like travel delays, which cuts are priorities and therefore must be reversed. You see, but that's from our own pain.
That's true.
We're not feeling the pain of the little
nation.
People that are really suffering from this, and they don't have they don't count. Nobody gives a damn about it.
Yeah, I mean, let's see if we would say in a month, let's say, how many old people have died, or has their illness progressed terribly? Because who's going to care? Because they probably have no families, no one to mark down their...
We're only, unfortunately, this Congress is only good at feeling its own pain. And that ain't going to get us anywhere. Okay, so there's this great new book out about swear words.
Ooh.
And
Oh, did you read that bit about the guy who was, I can't remember whether it was, it was somewhere in the South, or Texas. It was going to be his first radio show.
Yes, I did.
And he said something, what the fucking mess is this? And the mic was on.
I know.
He was fired.
I know. He lasted 2 seconds.
Yeah.
That is the greatest. I love that. I love it. He should have a long career.
Well, he was going to be on
He was on Letterman.
Yeah.
He was on Letterman. So this is a little piece by a woman who wrote a book called Holy Shit, A Brief History of Swearing. And what's interesting about holy shit is that swear words what is considered a swear word changes from era to era. And
well, in Polish, like the equivalent of like holy shit, so saying goddamn or fuck or something, is psia krew, which means dog's blood. But that's sort of a profanity. Psia krew.
Okay, but the thing is, the holy, there's a blaspheming,
right? As in
that
sanctified.
Is really sometimes considered out of bounds.
Yeah, right.
And like in the Middle Ages, that was swearing.
Right.
Anytime you took the Lord's name in vain, in even the most subtle way.
Right.
Like you could, if somebody said Christ's nails.
Oh.
That would
in a
be
moment
like
of anger.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God. But words, all the words like shit, fuck, scatological and or bodily stuff. Those weren't swear words.
No, it was just
because people live.
Well, but it was talking about things that.
Everybody, look,
everyone
lived
does.
in,
everybody
slept in the same.
Right.
People slept in the same bed. Parents had sex in the same room that their children were sleeping. People, relieved themselves in front of each other. So all those words which. We didn't become fastidious about that kind of stuff till the Victorian era.
Yeah, right, exactly.
When you got indoor plumbing coming in, and all of a sudden everything could sort of be private. And once it was private, then it became something.
Except what's very interesting about that is, I always make this when I'm teaching art or culture of that period, that it was the time of all, because Queen Victoria was such a nutcase about all of that. But during the Victorian times, concomitant with it was the richest time for pornography. Because photography had just started, but really just millions of photographic images and these slideshow things, etc. So when you try to close something, I mean, it's equivalent, I suppose, to the Prohibition, and we have the greatest amount of crime and stills and whatever.
So here's some interesting little tidbits. The C word. What kind of a sound was that just emanated?
I was waiting for you to say the C word.
That's one word I can't stomach.
Really?
Right.
Yeah, I really hate that word. Okay, so we're talking about C-U-N-T.
It's candy, right?
Okay, we're talking about C-U-N-T. In the Middle Ages, the C word, cunt, was found in medical texts.
Oh, yeah.
It was just, that's what it is, the cunt. And it was in the names of common plants and animals. There were streets named Cunt Street. and
which was filled with convents.
And it says there were even people named cunts.
Oh, God, can you imagine that?
Because it didn't have the power that it has now that we've all... And
hello, I'm Mary Jane Vagina.
Yeah, right.
Like that.
And so the F word didn't really exist yet in medieval times. And instead of the F word, the word was... Well, it wasn't... And it was, again, considered just a normal word, was sard. Do you know that? S-A-R-D.
I've never heard that.
Or S-W-I-V-E, swive. Sard and swive. And those were euphemistic words for copulation.
Yeah.
So if you look at Chaucer...
Oh, well, Chaucer
or if you look at even
rivals.
Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So, but here's the really funny part. There is a translation of the Gospels from the year 950 in which Christ says, don't sin and don't sard another man's wife. Which is essentially don't sin and don't fuck another man's wife, and that's what Jesus is quoted as saying because it was what he would say. That's what you would say. Don't fuck another man's wife.
Well,
okay.
and the point was so that everyone could understand, not just if he used a word like copulate or whatever.
And in the Miller's Tale, this is Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. I remember my brother turning me on to how filthy they were.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this is now the late 14th century. Here's a line. Thus swived was the carpenter's wife, and Absalom hath kissed her nether eye, and Nicholas is scalded in the toot. And okay, well here we'll translate.
Scalded in the toot.
Thus swived was the carpenter's wife. Okay, fucked was the carpenter's wife, and Absalom hath kissed her nether eye. Her ass. Her nether eye is her anus. And Absalom hath kissed her nether eye, and Nicholas is scalded in the toot. Nicholas is fucked in the nether eye. Scalded in the toot.
There's been some part.
And when your child goes to school,
that reads Chaucer.
They have to read Chaucer. Huh? One April with the Sure Sota, the Drought of Mars, the
Now, I'm just quickly, there's much more, we're running late, but does she say any new curse words have...
Okay.
This is all history, but I'm just wondering if any new things have come up.
Okay, here's what she says. While the shock value of some words is declining today, our repertoire of epithets will probably expand. In America, this is interesting, it is becoming increasingly taboo to sum up or essentialize people as epithets do. So she's saying right now, things we're not ever supposed to say is things like you're fat or you're a cripple or you're a retard. These are becoming words that are not to be used. And however, she said, for those kind of words to truly become swear words, they will have to lose their literal meaning and become more grammatically flexible. But she thinks that is where swearing is headed.
Interesting.
So she said, perhaps one day far in the future, when we hit our finger with a hammer, we will shout, "Fat, crippled banker!"
I'll use that one this afternoon.
Oh, we got to end it on that.
That's brilliant.
That's good. Fat, crippled banker. Yeah, I did say that. Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.